chances are you work with folks that are pretty great at doing things that you would want to learn. And by being diligent about learning from them, you can accelerate your career quickly and you can broaden your network, and it's a real opportunity. I wanted to talk about a really quick topic today, which is peer relationships and peer mentorship and leaning on the folks around you. In my careers, I've had the fortune to work with people that I've considered incredibly impressive. They've either been very good at things like technical strategy, or maybe it's working through complex relationship issues, dynamics of negotiation, interpersonal conflict, program management, untangling big messes, working across multiple companies, you know, tons of different areas where I've looked at it and I said, wow, I wish that I had the talent that this person has for this specific domain. What's great about working with people that have that skill is you can actually learn from them, and it's pretty simple. For a lot of folks, this isn't going to come as a shocker, but I've actually found it to be less common than I would expect, given how much ROI you can get from it, from leaning on your peers and developing strong peer-to-peer relationships that you can learn from. I'll give you an example. So a couple of years ago, I was in an interim position vying for a director role. And I decided then to make sure that I would cultivate a relationship with each of my prospective bosses' direct reports for a couple of reasons. One, to just suss out who these characters were and if this was a team that I wanted to be part of. Two, to get a sense of the types of skills that my prospective boss would be looking for so that I could think about my interview pitch, but also to figure out where could I learn from them and would they be open to teaching me. So what I did was I just wrote down in a spreadsheet all of their names, and I said, hey, I'm going to make sure that I have lunch with each of these people where I get to pick their brains about something that is relevant to both of us in the next 2 months. In doing that, I both got what I expected, which was some start of a relationship building with these people, but I also got a couple of really strong mentor relationships. So there was somebody who taught me a ton about change management. Somebody helped me figure out to become a much better manager of stakeholders, and somebody helped me through a couple of really complicated people issues. All in all, like this group of maybe 8 people, each of them had something that I could pick up and learn from them. By reaching out and by being a little bit proactive, I think I saved myself months, if not years, of on-the-job learning that I would have had to pick up otherwise, and avoided mistakes that I definitely would have made if I didn't have this knowledge. Makes sense, right? You work with great people, make sure that you learn from them. And if you don't work with great people, make sure that you get to a company where you can work with great people. You want to look around you at any given point and see that there are folks that you can learn from. And if they're not in your core domain, then maybe it's folks that you can learn from in the domains adjacent to you. Like if you're in engineering, maybe there's a product manager that is extremely talented at devising roadmaps or getting folks rallied and excited around a problem space that you can learn from. There's a couple of different ways that these relationships tend to develop. How you want the relationship to go depends a little bit on where you're looking to get out of it. Sometimes it happens naturally. You're working on a problem together and you develop a shared relationship either through the hardships or the wins that you have together. Sometimes it's more like what I did, where you have to reach out and proactively set up the relationship. In a very informal relationship, I don't think you necessarily need to have structure around it, but is it something that you're setting up? I think it helps to come into that relationship with some idea about what you're looking to get out of it and what you would want from the person that you're interacting with. And the reason I think that is because that makes it a lot easier for that person to understand why you're reaching out and if they can be helpful. This is as easy as sending an email to somebody that you think is impressive in the org around you and saying, hey, I've really been inspired by the work that you've done on this strategy, say. I wonder if I could learn from you. Could we set up a monthly 1-hour coaching session? I'll send you topics a couple of days in advance and we can talk about things related to strategy. You wouldn't have to prep anything, and I would love to just learn from you and get to understand why the things you do are so effective. If you're an introvert like I am, the very idea of doing this can sound terrifying. However, humans are wired for reciprocity, and humans love flattery. So most people are going to want to reciprocate if you ask them. They're going to want to help you if you ask them for help. And most people are going to be flattered by you reaching out and giving them praise. And so in that sort of reaching out and in establishing some parameters, you can very easily set up a pretty simple ad hoc peer coaching relationship. In the video about one-on-ones from the perspective of the team member, we talked a little bit about psychological safety and the role that plays in the one-on-one. It's good, I think, here to highlight that in this context as well, because I have found in situations where folks have managers that don't particularly want to entertain sort of the vent or the being vulnerable in the room. Peer relationships can serve as a crucial relationship to be able to share your insecurities and vulnerabilities in a way that you can't with your manager. Anyway, really quick one. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about peer relationships and why they can be some of the most effective relationships that you can have, and how they can supercharge your skill development and serve to building your network inside of your organization. If you have thoughts on this topic or want to share a particular success story or challenge working with peers, feel free to just drop a comment below and let me know. Thank you.